All right. It's looking like everybody is looking like it's going to be 11 games, 5 million. I am actively looking at Twitter. I'm waiting to hear anything else. Done. Go take a couple months off. People are saying this is going to be a real interesting one. I'll give you, this happens to be my lunch break, so I'm going to come on here and just, spend a little time with you guys. Actually, let me go ahead and turn my lights on. Give you a live reaction, kind of like how I feel about the brightness and zoom. There we go. My thoughts on this are as follows. I never thought it was going to be a full year. I really didn't. I mean, it still could come out that it's not, but Pro Football Talk on Twitter is saying this. So, and Pro Football Talk is, I can't remember the dude's name, but he's like that. He's a big NFL guy. And he's saying 11 games, 5 million. Personally, I think that it's going to be pretty close to this, if not this. And in terms of like my actual thoughts on the situation, yeah, Zachary, Chad, I am glad it's over as well. I think that's kind of one of the biggest things here. It's like, can we just move on now? Can we get it over with? To think back to the whole situation, there's a lot of emotions that are going into this because it's a really serious thing. It's a really serious thing that he is being alleged that he did. And so, that's you got to respect that. I'm just updating my bottom thing here. Okay. Deshaun decision. Sarah, what's going? Take it. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I think that I never thought it was going to be a year. I thought a year was going to be too much, especially from the fact that he spent a year already out, And I know that he sat out. I know that wasn't like the whole big thing where it was like, he wasn't suspended. He sat himself out because he wanted to get out of Houston. Yeah, but that aside, Houston had some involvement with this. When it came out that a member of the staff gave the NDA, that's when I was like, look, this is a problem, and Houston's gonna have a problem with this if they don't make it go away really fast. Laura T, what a waste of money, and they got rid of Baker. So disappointed in this trash team. And so like that's the thing. Like there's so many reactions that are going on here because people had an emotional attachment to Baker. People had obviously have very strong feelings about anybody who's accused of doing anything in the nature of what Deshaun's being accused of. So it's just it's kind of an ugly situation no matter how you slice it. Lynn Savage, just glad that we know what to expect and hopefully he acts better and kills it on the field. Ray, I wish it was only 6, but glad it's over now. Time to focus. Yeah, I agree. Do we know what the 12th game is then? Let's go and take a look at the schedule. Browns 2022. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The Texans. It's going to be the Texans on December 4th if he comes back. That's actually hilarious. It's too bad it wasn't, and it's an away game as well. So it's too bad it wasn't the week before. 10 games would have got him the Tom Brady game in Cleveland. Who else? Ray, wish it was only 6 class over. Michael Frazier, don't we play Houston week 12? Yes. Hilarious. I don't mind moving on for Baker, but I really would have taken any other quarterback in the league. Mo says Texans, Derek Jones. I'm okay with it as long as you can get some of that rust off for next year. I think we traded for next season from the beginning. I agree with you, Derek. Texans, of course. I'm so happy Baker's gone. Sarah, have to heal the locker room. Browns fan 1977. What's going on, man? Now the Texans get pushed, right? LOL. The irony. So this is it's so funny that this is the way it's going. In terms of everybody, like I was and clearly am still a Baker fan. I'm not going to pretend that I don't like Baker or I didn't like what he did for the Browns. I mean, I respect what he did for the Browns, but I also respect the fact that it just didn't work out here. And I think he's moved on. I think we all need to move on. Most of us have. I know that there's a lot of Sooner fans out there that are upset. I know that there's probably a lot of Ohio State fans that are out there that are happy, so this whole thing, like it's always the same thing. Whatever happens to the Browns, it tears the community apart. Whether that let's go all the way back to 99 when it was Tim Couch in the beginning and he throws the interception, and then we get off to a rocky start year after year, doesn't really have a great season until we were about to make the playoffs. Then he gets hurt. Kelly Holcomb comes in, and then it's Couch, Holcomb, right? So we basically had two mediocre quarterbacks. Then bunch of mediocre quarterbacks till 2007, where you bring in Brady Quinn against DA. So then you got Beaver Nation supporting DA. A lot of people like saying, hey, we drafted Brady Quinn. He's got all this potential. Let's see what he can do. Brady Quinn, I don't know if he ever really got a shot in Cleveland, if he took it seriously, if he was too much of a weightlifter. I don't know, but it didn't work out there. Then you fast forward ahead to, Hoyer versus Manziel. Then you get, Deshaun Kaiser. Everybody had a lot of feeling with that. Now you've got then you had Baker Mayfield coming in. Everybody's excited about Baker. Then it's Baker Deshaun. Like, it's just like nonstop with this team. Like no matter what it is, it's the carousel. And I think that's what they did, right? That's what the Browns front office did. They said, okay, the carousel's got to stop. We're going to plant our flag in the ground and say, we're going after somebody who's got more talent, has shown more on the field than any quarterback that we've had since 99. That's not really debatable. Like Deshaun Watson for what he's done in his career has been better than any quarterback the Browns have had since 99. Really going back to probably Kosar, other than maybe 1 year with Vinny, right? And that 1994 team with Vinny when we went to the playoffs. But I mean, I don't really even count that so much because Vinny actually went on to play pretty well for the Jets, had a decent career. I think he might have had an MVP, or at least he had an MVP caliber season with the Jets. But really, we've been starving for a quarterback for so long. And I think that the Haslams sat back and said, okay, we've got Baker. We think we've hit his ceiling. He's been somewhat immature, and like we all know. But, he became a spokesmodel. He became a spokesman for brands where right in the league, and he got off on fire where he set the rookie, TD passing record, which is immediately broken by Herbert. But he still got off to an insane start, and then he took us to the playoff. Then he had a bad year. Then he took us to the playoffs the next year with, winning the game in Pittsburgh where everybody was like, this is great. And then he came back, got hurt, and really was never the same. And that was it. That was pretty much the end of the Mayfield era in Cleveland. So the Haslams and Andrew Berry and now Kevin Stefanski, they all came together and said, look, we're in a window here. We are in a window that is going to last only a couple years. We've got Myles Garrett, who's one of the most dangerous defensive players in the league. Guys like Denzel Ward. We've got other little pieces around like JOK and Newsome out there, and we rented Jadeveon Clowney for another season. How many years can we do this? How long is this going to last? And then on top of it, you've got a great offensive line. It sucks that Nick Harris went down, but we have a great offensive line, no matter who plays center. And you've got two of the most dynamic running backs in the league, the combination of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And then you've got a bunch of backup running backs that are all very capable when it comes to Dearness Johnson, John Kelly, and the emergence of Jerome Ford. So we have some great weapons. We have David Njoku, who's in his prime. Harrison Bryant's coming into it. At least three professional caliber wide receivers in my estimation, with Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and the emergence of rookie David Bell. So, I mean, we have weapons now. And when you have weapons and you've got good personnel on both sides of the ball and also Cade York, so now we have a kicker who can actually make kicks. So when we get down to the situations, a lot of times in the NFL, it comes down to three points or less, right? That's the reason the reason the Ravens have been so good is because of Justin Tucker, right? So hopefully we've got a guy who can actually make kicks. And you got an offense, you got a defense, and you got a good coaching staff, and you have a good front office, and you've got an owner that's willing to spend and wants to have some wins. So what does that create? It creates a situation, and we haven't had a good quarterback or a consistently great quarterback in like 2 decades. What does that mean? It means that they're going to make a big splash decision. There's no way, if this would have been a normal market, right, where Deshaun Watson can pick where he goes and there's no scandal, there's no nothing. He works out his contract in Houston, then he's a free agent. There's zero chance he comes to Cleveland because somebody else will give him something that he wants. which is he probably would have wanted to go to Atlanta, to be back home, right? Be home, be near his family, be near his people, and have that home field. And he wouldn't have needed the guarantee at that point because he wouldn't have had these looming lawsuits that he was going to have to pay, and God knows, even maybe a freaking jail sentence. But in this case, because he had that, it's like buying damaged. It's going to a dent and scratch place to buy your refrigerator. You're going to get a great fridge. You're going to get the most expensive fridge, the best features, the newest thing. It's going to be beautiful, but it's going to have a couple dent and scratches, and you're going to have to be cool with that in order to get a beautiful appliance. And I know I'm making this weird analogy between Deshaun Watson and that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to go to the store and go out and get a brand new and peel off the plastic on a brand new, amazing quarterback, because they're not going to come to Cleveland for that. Like, we have not proven that we can go out and get that level of free agent. Deshaun Watson, the fact that he's got these dents and scratches, and the fact that we gave him brand new refrigerator prices, we paid the top dollar for it with the guarantee and all this stuff, that means that we had a chance to get a guy like this. Now, what's going on, Gary? So now where we stand with it is we got to make sure, as it was mentioned before in the chat, we got to make sure, who said that? It was about the knocking off the rust. It's about making sure that he can be ready mentally and physically to be a productive quarterback and be the Deshaun Watson that we want him to be. I'll get to you guys' comments in a second. Keep the chat going. I will get to all your comments. So we have a little bit of time to figure that out. And Deshaun, now it's going to come down to the details. Like, when's he going to be able to practice with the team? Is he going to be able to be in the locker room? Is he going to have any contact with coaches or players or anything? Like, what level of suspension does this make it? Does this mean for him? And, where do we go from here? I'm going to check Twitter one more time just to make sure there hasn't been an official update or anything going on with it. Okay. Deshaun Watson will have missed 28 regular season games. Okay, so it's saying it's over. Deshaun Watson will be eligible to return week 13 at Houston. Okay, so everybody's saying will undergo professional evaluation. Okay, the other thing, Hayden Grove, Deshaun Watson will undergo professional evaluation by behavioral experts and will follow the team's their treatment program. Okay. Carly Mesquidi, Deshaun Watson will be suspended for 11 games and fined $5 million. He'll make his regular season debut in week 13 in Houston against the Texans, his former team. Hayden Grove, Deshaun Watson, $5 million fine, along with $1 million fine from the NFL and $1 million for the Browns. Total of $7 million will go towards, I guess those extras. I don't know, but he's saying will go towards nonprofits around the country that educate people on healthy relationships, promote education, and prevent sexual misconduct and assault. Okay, I mean, honestly, let's just say it's $7 million spread across the nation for that. That's not going to be a lot of money for these type of things, but whatever. It's something. And here we go. Dave at Big Play, the longest offseason of all time has come to a closure. On to football. Ride with 7 for 11 games. So yes, it's Jacoby Brissett season. It is Jacoby Brissett. Tajay, TWE. The season is alive. They win all 5 games. I don't know why that's saying that. Mary Kay, Deshaun Watson suspended 11 games, $5 million, blah, blah, blah. So everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Everybody's echoing the same stuff. He's going to play against Texans, $5 million, blah, blah, blah. Hayden's the only one who's come out and said more than that. Suddenly hearing from all sorts of people who claim they knew about the Watson suspension yesterday. Well, you should have reported it. Damn. Sarah tweets, it's over. I'm watching you, Sarah, as well. All right, going back to the chat real quick. So now the Texans get punished, right? Yep. No, absolutely not. Lynn Savage. Okay. Zachary Chad, that week 12 game in Houston is going to be ugly. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets bumped out to if that gets flexed to primetime. Nah, Sarah, now this team has something to fight for the first 11 games. Win 6, and we may have a shot. What's up, chat? Gary Washington, Mike, how you been? I've been good, Gary. Welcome back, brother. Michael Frazier, Baker is horrible. There's actually film to support this take. I wanted him to be good. He'll great if I'm being honest. But he wasn't. Not consistently enough anyways. This team was built to win right now. Let's go. I agree, Michael. I think that was really the downfall of Baker. The fact that it was he couldn't get there fast enough when guys like Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, these guys came in right around or after Baker and have turned their teams into playoff contending, Super Bowl contending teams. Now, have they won the Super Bowl? No, but you look at these guys out there, and these are the teams that are going to be, favored to win the Super Bowl, and the Panthers aren't. Neither are the Browns at this point. Now, we'll see what happens next year. I agree with the take earlier that who was that? It was. This whole trade was about next year. I think we should all kind of like calm down our expectations for this season. It doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means that we all knew that the suspension was going to come this year. We all knew this was going to impact the team. There is chemistry. There's going to be guys who are playing 11 games together, practicing for like 12 weeks because there's a bye week in there, practicing that long of time. That's 3 solid months, right? 3 months is a long time in football. I mean, it's over half the season, right? And there's going to be chemistry and there's going to be stuff going on with that. Can Deshaun Watson come in and do it? I don't know. I mean, I've gone back and I watched the first game, the first Panthers game where we were the preseason one, where Deshaun got off to a rough start. That first pass is ugly. I don't know if it slipped out of his hand. I don't know if he just missed somebody, if the butterflies were flying, probably all of the above. And then you have the drop passes by Anthony Schwartz, which, you get this pass with Anthony Schwartz. I wish he would have caught him just because that would have given us a little bit of momentum. If he would have hit that first pass, we would have got a first down right off the bat, which would have given us a little momentum and got us going. We're still doing the stupid stuff like penalties, holding penalties, false start penalties, bunch of really silly stuff that just have plagued the Browns for generations. So you're not going to win games with unforced errors like that anyway, but it's unfortunate we didn't get to see that many. We have to see 7 passes out of Deshaun Watson. He completed 1 to David Njoku. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he play in this weekend's game? Does the suspension start in week 1? Does it start right now? Who knows? I would think it would probably start week 1, but we need to get Deshaun Watson out there with some live football reps to get him ready for it, because although, it's 90 days away, it's still coming. He still has to be ready. He hasn't played football in over a year, right? So he has to get out there and play, but we also have a responsibility to allow Jacoby Brissett to get some reps with the first team as well, because we want to make sure that he's out there. Now, that brings up the point that if Jacoby Brissett is out there, so if we start off with Deshaun Watson as in the number ones, you better believe that the number 1 offensive line is going to be out there. We already lost 1 for the season. God forbid if we lost somebody else. But the longer that you leave your starting quarterback, whether that's Deshaun Watson in the preseason and or Jacoby Brissett, both of those guys have to have the starting offensive line, right? So the longer you leave the offensive line out there, the longer there's a possibility that injury could occur. The offensive line certainly doesn't need the reps other than maybe the center, right? And Michael Dunn's played enough. So if Michael Dunn's the guy, then that's fine. Like, I think the center position can be played by a backup player because you've got, all pro potential Hall of Famer Joel Bitonio out there. You've got one of the best right guards in the game, if not the best right guard in the game with Wyatt Teller. And then you got Conklin coming back and Jedrick Wills, who's coming into year 3, right? So, you have a solid offensive line, no matter who's snapping the ball. So the longer they're out there, the more injury prone or the risk of injury exists, but you have to give Jacoby enough reps to get him ready with the first team offense as well, right? So this whole thing brings up a really interesting scenarios left and right. Chris Norwood, 11 games is ridiculous, especially since no charges are already and they gave him 6. The NFL hates Cleveland. I don't disagree with the NFL hating Cleveland. I don't understand why. I really don't, but that just happens to be what it is. Gary Washington, I'm so excited. This guy's everything. We have so many weapons. Good for him, or good for him. A good offensive line means everything. We got running backs, solid wide receivers. Let's LFG Cleveland fans get excited. So you've got 2 sides of the spectrum. You've got guys like people like Gary who are like so excited. think it's the greatest thing in the world. You have other people that are really, really upset because of the allegations of what he did, right? So Barry Cunningham, what's up, Mike? Dude is going to be seriously rusty when he comes back. What's going on, Barry? If the Browns are really out of the playoff hunt by then, maybe we should sit him for the rest of the year. There's zero chance he's going to be sat for the rest of the year after sitting those 11 games. But let's play this out for a second. Let's say after 11 games, the Browns are 1-10. That means they're gonna play Deshaun and get him ready for next year. Get him the reps. We're gonna reset. I wouldn't be surprised if you see less and less of Nick Chubb and more of guys like Dearness Johnson and Jerome Ford, because we want to make sure their legs are good to go. I mean, they'll play, but we're not gonna run guys like Nick Chubb into the ground for a 1-10 team. But I mean, it brings up the scenario: what is it gonna take for this Browns team to be successful when it gets transitioned back to Deshaun from Jacoby? So 11 games. I think if we go 6-5, we're in the hunt. I think 6 games, no matter what, is the minimum. You got to be 6 games, right? 6-5, we're in the hunt. We'll probably be in like 3rd place in the AFC North by the time Deshaun comes back. So clip it, save this. My point, my honest thoughts are we have to win at least 6 to stay in the hunt at that point. If that's it, pour the gas on and hopefully Deshaun's ready. God, but what happens if we win even more? What if we're 8-3, and then do we take the ball away from Jacoby at that point? Who knows? And what if we're 8-3 because the defense played bad or we missed field goals? And it has nothing to do with Jacoby. Like, that's going to be one of those situations. But because we're paying him so much and because of the situation, they'll be sitting there going, okay, it's 11 games. If we're 8-3 or better at that point, then the team can say, hey, are we ready? Is Deshaun ready from a practice perspective? Does he have the grasp of the offense, and is he ready to go against Houston? Or do we wait for the Browns to come back? So we play against the Bengals at the Bengals, then December 18th against the Ravens. I don't know. I think that it's possible. I'm not saying it's likely. It's just like it's possible that if we're 8-3 or better at that point, and if they determine that Deshaun is not ready from a practice perspective, that we move forward with Jacoby and let it go. I mean, this is not. You guys might think I'm crazy, but this exact situation has played out in Super Bowls in the past. When Phil Simms was injured, Jeff Hostetler came in. They let Jeff Hostetler play in the Super Bowl, and he won. So there are situations that you got to go with the guy with the hot hand. And then if he gets into a situation, let's say you're 8-3 or better, you go to Houston, he plays well, we win that game, we're 9-3. Then we come up to Cincinnati, we play, and Jacoby gets off to a rough start. Maybe then we put in Deshaun. But the best thing is you have options. At 8-3 or better, you have options. At 6-5, anything 6-5 or worse, instant decision. Deshaun's playing against Houston instantly. So, but again, who knows? All right, next up, Gary Washington, $230 million. You play him at least some games. Yeah, he's playing. Sarah, I'm stoked. Once the rust is off, I can watch my quarterback step back and throw without wanting to vomit up my chicken wings, especially DW escaping the pocket and those few that he might play. Yes, I can't wait. I think everybody who's not thinking about this emotionally and is rooting for the laundry, I would probably agree with you, Sarah. Lynn Savage, I'm with you, Mike. Excited for the season, but of course, next year is the real story, 100%. I think that's it. Gary Washington, Cooper. Yes, Cooper's going to be rock solid this year. Chris Norwood, Browns need to go at least 7-4 while he's out for a playoff hunt. I don't know. I mean, yes, but keep in mind, this is a 17-game season now, right? So we have that extra game, and who knows what's going to happen with the AFC North, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I do think the AFC North is going to be very good, especially with Cincinnati, and the Ravens are never bad. So, okay. Cut Schwartz, Chris says Chris Norwood. Derek Jones said, what are the odds that we trade for Jimmy G now? Probably unlikely. I think the only way that we would get Jimmy G at this point is if, because Josh Dobbs didn't look terrible. Josh Dobbs looked like he'd play. Can he play 11 games? I don't know, but he didn't look terrible. And we'll have to see what happens with Jacoby. If Jacoby goes out there and stinks it up in the next 2 preseason games, I mean, it could be cause for concern. But I think it's more likely that the 49ers don't find a trade partner or just give him up for nothing. If it's like a 6th round pick, fine, give me Jimmy G and let him compete. But we're not going to give up anything substantial for Jimmy G when they're just going to cut him and then we can make a deal with him, right after that. If Jacoby's not the solution. But I think that they brought in Jacoby Brissett to be the solution. I think Jacoby Brissett can play and start in 11 games. It's a similar style offense. Sarah, I don't think we do. As regards to Jimmy G, he would need he would need weeks to learn the book. Yes and no. Professional quarterbacks, it's all the same syntax, right? The syntax has changed, but all the same thing in the offense. Like it's all basically the same. If you're a professional quarterback, you should be able to pick up an offensive language very quickly. They'll put the thing on his arm so he knows what he's doing. And he's going to hand the ball off a heck of a lot to Nick Chubb. And they'll put in probably 10 to 15 plays. They'll install that the week before. So, it won't be the full offense, but it won't be bad. You won't ask him to do a whole heck of a lot. There's going to be a lot of, screen passes and handing the ball off and all that kind of jazz. Derek Jones, similar style offense. DG, I really don't understand the love affair with Jimmy G. Is he really that much better than Brissett? I don't think he is, D. I think if you're gonna win, let's say the minimum, you're going to win 6 games with Jacoby. Are you going to win 7 with Jimmy G? Maybe not though. There's no guarantee. He's not that much better that he gives you this automatic, he's going to go 9-2. If he was, they would pull the trigger on him immediately. Jacob Infinite 7. If the Browns go 11-0, do you think they keep Brissett in because the chemistry is working? I think if they go 11-0, they absolutely do. Chris, at least until Jacoby looks like he's struggling. 11-0, you don't take a guy out who's 11-0. I don't give a crap. That guy, if you go 11-0 in the NFL, that means you can win a Super Bowl, and you're doing something right. And you just say, hey, Deshaun, we're paying you $1 million a game, right? This year, they structured the contract that way. That's it. And then we just transition to him next year if Jacoby keeps saying that hot. 11-0, that would be insane. But yes, they would stay with Jacoby at 11-0. They wouldn't extend him or do anything like that, but at 11-0, you stick with him. Chris Norwood, he comes back. We go 3-3 with him. B Skrill, salute Mike, salute chat. B Skrilly in the hizzy. DG, you want Brissett in the playoffs or Watson? Watson. Without even, unless we're talking about 11-0 Brissett. And that is unlikely to happen. Gary Washington, let Schwartz have another year. I'd be seriously doubting that they're going to cut Schwartz. I think he's in the plan. He had a bad first game. If he has 2 more bad games, you see him go. But I think he's going to turn it around. I don't think he's as bad as everybody kind of made the reaction, including myself. I was upset at that as well because he ruined drives. But yeah, But he's gonna, like I said before, you guys. And if you go to my YouTube Shorts, which I'm starting to do more YouTube Shorts, starting to like that a lot. I'm getting a little bit of YouTube coaching from some real YouTubers, and I'm gonna start doing a lot more YouTube Shorts. But I did one on Schwartz. He's not even close to being like a top tier option for the Browns. Fourth in the wide receiver position at best. But you got Cooper, DPJ, Bell, and Njoku, Bryant, Chubb, Hunt, and a third running back before you would go or you need to go to Schwartz unless somebody gets hurt. So Schwartz is the 9th option on offense. It's not going to be, it's an irrelevant conversation. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I've always said that Schwartz is a track runner. He's not a wide receiver. Beast Girls, if the Browns go 7-4 by the time Watson gets back, would that be perfect? Or that would be perfect? Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would pay for that right now. I wouldn't trade for Jimmy G. This is from Ray. Need to keep the draft picks, draft young talent, and go and need that cap space. So yeah, unless we're giving up literally a ham sandwich for Jimmy G, like nothing, 6th round pick or worse, I'd give up a 6th round pick. I don't care. I wouldn't give up anything, maybe even a 5th, but I wouldn't give up anything more than that for Jimmy G because he's going to get cut and then you just work out a 1-year deal with him. But then again, let's see what Jacoby does in the preseason. Jacoby gets hot. Jacoby's a professional quarterback. He's been around. He hasn't gone as deep into the playoffs as you get with the Jimmy G, but that's not what we would be bringing Jimmy G in to do. That's not the purpose he would solve. He would just be looking to be brought in for a couple games. Where was I? Okay, DG, you cut Schwartz, go. Who would you bring in off the street? Please stop this. Who would you? Oh, you let Schwartz go. Yeah, I mean, we are ready to. We don't have that deep of a wide receiver, although there's been some guys that have looked pretty good in the preseason, and especially in practice. But who knows? Again, we have a lot of weapons on offense. It's not like a one-trick pony right now, which is really, really good. Cleveland, Ethan. Oh no, hold on. Before I get to Cleveland, Mr. Geek, he will be back this season though. Still good, but hated that he had to settle. Yeah, it sucks. It really does. It sucks. Cleveland, Ethan. I mean, guess we have to depend on the run game and defense for 11 games. TBF. Honestly, that's what we're going to do anyway. Mr. Geek, Gary Washington. I think the Bengals are going to struggle. People will see them coming off this year. Chase won't get open as much. They will be solid, but I doubt they repeat. I mean, Jamar Chase is scary. He could be the best wide receiver in the league. And I don't say that lightly. He could be the best wide receiver in the National Football League. He's young, he's injury-free, and he's got Joe Burrow throwing to him, who's young and could be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, especially when you have some of these dinosaurs like Aaron Rodgers retiring. Like guys like Joe Burrow are going to step up. Joe Burrow is legitimately that good at quarterback. And with a weapon like Jamar Chase, I'm not sleeping on the Bengals. Now, am I sleeping on the Bengals offensive line? They got a little bit better. It's not great. Am I sleeping on the Bengals defense? Do I think they outperformed last year and they got hot at the right time? Yes. I don't think the Bengals defense is that good. We tore them up. So I'm not really all that. I'm not concerned with the Bengals when we go head to head. I'm concerned with the Bengals playing against the rest of the damn league because the Bengals can compete. Okay, where are we at? That was Gary Washington. B Skrills. For all we know, the Bengals can go 8-9 this year, and the Ravens and the Steelers could go 9-8. Very possible. Love them cookies. On a scale of 1 to 10, can we call this settlement an 11? No, I don't think so. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, the settlement is 6 games, and I don't really care about the money, but the fine. But 6 games, no fine would have been a grand slam for Deshaun, and I think that's why the league went back and said, this ain't going to fly. Derek Jones, Bengals win the North, but they're not going back to the Super Bowl. That's possible. That is very possible. I don't think the Browns are going to win the North this year, so everybody knows. I'd be very shocked if they did. Beast Grills, if Jacoby can go 3-0 in this first 3 games, that's a good sign. It is, and I think they're winnable games. So if you go to the Browns' schedule, so we're looking at, we start off with the Jets. We start off with the Panthers. It's a winnable game. It's not a guarantee because they're going to have full strength Christian McCaffrey. They're going to have a better quarterback in Baker. That's not a debate. He is better than Sam Darnold. And they have a decent defense and they have weapons around, with DJ Moore. They got weapons in the Panthers. Like the Panthers are not going to be a pushover, and it's away, and we're going in with our backup quarterback. Like that's going to be a tight game. The Jets, we should be just fine playing against Flacco at home. That let's say it's Zach Wilson. That's fine. Either way, I'm not super concerned about the Jets. And then we play the Steelers at home, which is probably going to be a Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett type Steeler team. I'm not super concerned about them. We just got to make sure that we can, take care of Watt and just make sure he's blocked. And then we stop, we stop Harris and we're fine. And I think we can do that. So I think at this point, we're probably 2-1 by the end of game 3. We either lose to the Panthers or lose to the Steelers. We're not losing to the Jets. 0 chance. If we lose to the Jets, let's say we lose to the Panthers and we lose to the Jets, it'll become panic mode. It would become like trade for Jimmy G, like whatever. But I think it's going to be, we're going to be 2-1 for whatever combination of those first 3 games. Then you get into the second 3 games, the Falcons, Chargers, and Patriots. Now, let's say we're 2-1. Now we're 2-2 because we're going to beat the Falcons. We're going to beat the Falcons in Atlanta, which is tough, and it's in a dome. But we have been playing better in a dome. And I think that with our running backs and everything, we're going to have so much speed on that field. We're going to beat the Falcons in the away, Falcons at home, right? We've got the Chargers coming up next in Cleveland. And on paper, I think we lose that game. So now we're what, 3-3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we're 2, 3. We're 3-2. We're 3-2 after the Chargers. We lose to the Patriots. So now we're 3-3. We go to the Ravens and we lose to that one. So now we're 3-4. We have the Bengals at home. We're 4-4. We go to the Dolphins. We're 5-4. We go to the Bills. We're 5-5. The Buccaneers come. We're 5-6. Then we go to the Texans. So it could be 5-6. I think realistically, without something crazy happening, we're looking at 5-6 going to the Texans. Okay, let's get back to chat here. Beast Grill says, if I'm a betting man, I'm picking the Bengals to have the same record as they did last year, 10-7. I think that's probably fairly accurate. Derek Jones, Bengals will win the North, but they're not getting back to the Super Bowl. Bengals win, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people saying the Bengals. What else? Let me quickly get up. Derek Jones, Bengals will win the North. They're not going to be Super. Beast Grills, Jacoby can go 3-0. Good sign. Beast Grills, if we get to run the ball real well, the defense will be locked in. Brian Burlow, 11 games. How odd. Even the NFL wanted one up on Watson after he said he'd agree to $8 and $5 million. I see what you did there. Love them cookies. What did Love Them Cookies do? Did I miss it? On a scale of 1 to 11, call it 7 and 11. Yeah, 11 games. Cleveland, Ethan, go 5-0, 4-1 is the easy part of the beginning to try to survive against the brutal part, 5-12 before DW comes to play. Pee Wee Blueberry Grinder, 7-4. I think it's 7-4 would be great. I think it's almost like best case scenario based off the schedule. Looking to see anything else that's coming in here. We've got Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam. They've got a press conference going on right now. Jimmy's smiling. He's happy about it. We've got anything else? Deshaun Watson, I'm looking forward to moving forward with my career, says Pro Football Talk. Deshaun Watson, this is from Hayden Grove. This is a quote from Deshaun Watson. I stand on my innocence. He said, I know what happened. Okay. Whatever that means. Ken Carmen, playoff hopes do a big hit with 11 games. Playing 6 games will be good for Watson. To 1. 2, 1, put the Browns in the playoffs. 2, knock off the rest. 3, calm people down about Stefanski if things aren't going well over the first 11 games. Any/or combo of those are real good. So he is apologizing or not? Is he accountable or not? I don't know. I don't think he is, but whatever. Deshaun Watson issue statement on resolution of discipline, accountability for the decisions I've made. So I guess Mike Restano replying to this other guy. Exactly 2 painter hats. I guess Mike is still upset with the painter hat season ticket gift. That's a joke, honestly. Deshaun's wearing the same hat today, by the way. That's not why I wore it, but if you go to the Deshaun press conference, he's wearing the same hat. It's a dope hat. I don't think you can buy it anymore. NFL in the back, all that. This is one of my favorite ones. Okay. Deshaun keeps denying all wrongdoing. Cleveland, Ethan. Go 5-0, 4-1 is the easy part in the beginning of survival. Okay, but no new chat. So, guys, that's kind of what it is. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Basically, it's this. It's never been about a wins or losses here with Deshaun. It's basically a losing situation because we have a quarterback who, although he's not admitting that he did anything wrong, he is kind of admitting something, like he acted out of place. And it sucks that we have a quarterback that's in that situation, that we had to go through this whole offseason waiting for this decision. And it puts us in a situation where we now have to root for a guy who's made some questionable moral decisions, and specifically within the nature of the things that he's done makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Now, there are people out there that are like, look, I don't care. I have the ability to be an adult and compartmentalize between a player on the field and, somebody who's what he does off the field. And that's admirable for some people, but other people are very emotionally invested and connected into these players and these teams, and they want their players to be squeaky clean. But I think what we all had to do is, and what makes a lot of people uncomfortable is, this is a reality check for a lot of people who don't understand what goes on in professional sports and even not professional, like amateur sports, things that happen in college, these guys, for lack of a better word, like oftentimes do get away with murder. And that's just what it is. When there's millions and millions of dollars at stake, these guys, they have different sets of rules. Rich, famous people get away with things that other people don't. It doesn't make it right, but that's what it is. And I also think that there's a spectrum to this. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this, and I was like, they asked me my opinion about the Deshaun Watson situation. I think that there is a spectrum. On one side of it, there are some professional licensed massage therapists who he put them beyond their level of comfort and did not stop, and he should have, or he shouldn't have done in the first place, but he went beyond their level of comfort and freaked them out. There's that side of it. There's also some people that were like in the middle that were like, look, I'm not super thrilled about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to, bury this deep in my soul and swallow it down. Didn't mean it like that, but like this, like meaning like they're going to bury the feeling of whatever they're doing deep down in their soul. Right. Then you've got some people that were like completely on board with it. And they're like, well, fine, whatever. And then out of that whole spectrum, there's a lot of women who are, cashing checks off of this. So it's good. It's not a good situation. It's really a bad situation, but there is a spectrum to it. And I got to tell you this now, I'm a father of 2 girls, right? I have a wife and I have 2 girls and I have a sister and I have a mother and like a mother-in-law. Like I have women in my life, and especially my little girls. If they go on Instagram and accept direct messages from rich, famous celebrity athletes who say, hey, would you like to, I will fly you down, all expenses paid, put you up in a hotel, as long as you give me a massage, knowing that you're not a licensed massage therapist. You're just a girl on Instagram. If you decide to do that, I will lose my damn mind. Because of course there's ulterior motives to that. And if you don't understand that, then there's something wrong with you. Now, at the end of the day, again, some of them in that spectrum were on board with it and knew what it was, but some of them weren't. And I guess that's what they're going to have to deal with. Maybe they spend all that money on therapy to get through it. But, if you're going to be an Instagram model and you're going to get flown across the country or not even a model, you're just going to be some girl on Instagram that he slides in your DM and said, I'm going to fly you down. You better believe that you're going down there to perform some sort of service, and you're not probably going to be super comfortable with that. So those girls got on the plane and they took off and whatever. That's just is what it is. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that there were decisions, there were bad decisions that were made by all parties. And in order to not put yourself in that situation, you could either say, hey, sorry, I'm not a massage therapist. I'm not interested in doing this. And then you're fine. Your life moves on. So, that's what it is. All right, Trell Smith. They will not keep Brissett in. We are 11-0 unless the main reason that is Brissett is having an MVP caliber season, then maybe. But if he's just being a game manager and no Deshaun is our quarterback, I think that's fair, Trell. I think it's absolutely fair. But man, if we're 11-0, that's a really good problem to have. All right, guys, I got to jump. I'm getting close to the end of my lunch hour here. I just wanted to come in. This is breaking news. This is a big deal. This is what we've been waiting for. I wanted to give you my thoughts on it, talk through the situation, yada, yada. Thank you guys all for hanging out, being with me. There's still going to be Mike in the car coming up. I'm going to be doing some of that. I might do that later on today. So Mike in the car, let's go ahead and say Mike in the car later on today. And then pre and post game, for at least minimum pregame for the preseason game coming up, which is, I forget now, the Eagles. So preseason game this Sunday, pregame show. Then we go from there. So thank you guys. Ray, appreciate it. You have a good day as well. And, go Browns. And I lost my ending screen. Starting screen, Brownie Posey, giveaway, deep fall. Ending screen, there we go. I lost it. I got to move that up. See you guys. subscribe to the channel as well. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit it. See you guys.